Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first edition of the What's on Joe Mind mail call. We've rechristened the Postsac as its own standalone segment because, frankly, we had to do something to get the main show down under 3 hours every week. Nobody can sit and do a team stream for that long all the time, right? So we had to bring that back down just a little bit, and an easy way to do that is to remove a segment and make it a standalone, and here we are. So welcome aboard. We do have some letters in the Postsac. See, like old habits.
Yeah.
We do have 3 letters.
Woohoo!
Waiting for mail call. With me, of course, Mark Weber and Joe Colton. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Ladies first, what's up?
But without further ado, let's get right to it. So here's the first question. Mark, behind closed doors at Hasbro, what was the general opinion of sites like Yojo, 3D Joe's, etc., that were using Hasbro IP to create their sites, books, documentaries, etc.? Thanks, Crocodile Joel McMullen, via email.
That's a good question.
So, Mark, why don't you go ahead and field this one? Give us the lowdown. Give us the skinny. Give us the dirt.
When I started at Hasbro, I was on Transformers. And for about a little more than a year, I got to work with Aaron Archer, who was one of my very favorite guys there and an icon in the Transformers community. And I think I had my longest conversation with him on it because I was new, but I knew who he was, and I really respected his opinion. And his take on it was, look, as long as it's not competing with what we do, what we sell, and obviously, as long as it's not portraying the brand in a bad light, there's stuff we could go after legally. Like the one he pointed out was the Repro sticker guys, right?
Gotcha.
Who are taking something that's 100% Hasbro property, duplicating it and selling it for profit, right? So it couldn't be a more classic case of, hey, you can't do that. But Hasbro never went after those kinds of guys, especially like the sticker guys, because people aren't buying those to put them on their cars, right? They're not buying them to, put on their hats. They're buying them to put on their toys, or maybe they're seeking out those old toys to put brand new labels on. So there was never any talk that I was privy to. And Transformers has a really big problem with third-party knockoffs, right? And, and some of them aren't, well, I don't want to call them knockoffs. Some of them are brand new created items that are fantastic. There are companies doing incredible work, mainly in China, on Transformers that Hasbro isn't making, or a version of Optimus that they're not making right now. And I rallied against that stuff pretty hard while I was on the brand. And originally, the talk from my director was, the way we kill this is, if we're making the right product, then they've got nothing to sell. And I thought that was probably a more adult response than my umbrage of, they're selling Optimus and not paying for it and da-da-da. But I also thought they misunderstood the size of that wallet spend, because a collector is going to spend whatever is in their own budget and sometimes above. And if there isn't enough of the home team's product, they'll find something else. Like
right.
Joe, the last couple of years, pre-classified, when there really wasn't any Joe product, G.I. Joe fans found something else to spend their money on. Whether it was backfilling old Joe stuff through conventions or eBay or whatever, or maybe branching out into something else they liked, like Turtles or Power Rangers or DC or who knows what. But a collector is going to spend. And so I thought if they went harder after the third-party companies, they would find that the Transformer fans' wallet all of a sudden was getting thicker. And I bet they would have seen more sales numbers, or maybe more money going into back items and stuff like that. But the impression I always got was that Hasbro Legal was not going after, especially people in China, because it's really hard to litigate in a foreign country.
Sure.
So they were They were not aggressive about that kind of thing. And so as long as it portrayed the brand in a positive light, I think they were. I think they would never ever say, on the record, yes, that's cool, keep doing what you're doing. But they would really have to have a reason to go after somebody who was doing something that promoted interest in the brand.
Fair enough. And hopefully that's a good enough answer, because Lord knows I have nothing to add to that.
Right. That's all I know. So there you go. And again, and I keep saying this, it's been more than 4 years since I walked those halls. So it could have changed, though, as I understand it, the legal department is a lot of the same people as when I was there. So
Is it the same, Mark, as it is for the books as well? Like the rank and file?
Yeah.
And like same deal, same thought?
Yeah, I think they were with a reference style book. I think they don't see any harm in that, unless one was poorly done that had bad information in it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
By and large, guys who aren't willing to do the work don't end up getting published, right? Or self-publishing and making any money. So they never blamed it, any of that. And a lot of that has sparked up, in the last, I would say few years, but in the last 6 to 8 years, probably.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a regular or a hot button topic while I was there. But again, that was 2012 to 2017. I think the one thing I think they'd be really careful about is the unlicensed fan fiction sort of stuff, where it's possible to write something that's way too adult.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't think we've seen much of that. And they had Kindle Worlds for a while as an outlet for.
That was a good run. I wish they had continued that.
Yeah, I liked it. And that was one of my first jobs, was to read a bunch of the Joe fiction. And none of it was terrible. I think most of it was just okay. But some of it was outstanding. Bill Nedler's stuff is some of my favorite stuff ever. But as I understood it, it just didn't generate revenue.
Yeah.
So it ran its course, and I think it was set for a certain amount of time. So when it ran out, Hasbro was like, well, it didn't make much money. And I think Amazon said, no, it didn't. And okay, so we had a very amicable divorce over Kindle Worlds. But I liked it, and I didn't think there was any downside to it continuing. But I think even the authors could tell you there wasn't a whole lot of purchasing. But the idea that they got to publish an approved G.I. Joe story, kind of cool. And there were like 5 or 6 brands involved, I think. But I was only involved with the Joe end of it. So.
All right. Well, let's save the rest of the Kindle World discussion for another day.
Right.
To letter number 2. Hey, what's on Joe Mind crew?
Hey.
I'm sure you covered this topic back in the day, but for new fans like me, could you briefly summarize your thoughts?
Okay.
All of them? Probably so. Anyways, what did you think of the Toys R Us exclusive True Heroes line when G.I. Joe was dormant? When Toys R Us was having their closeout sales, I went there fully intending to buy some, but the area was suddenly empty. Apparently, they were all offloaded to another chain or something. And this is from Brad Glenn via email. Then thanks for the letter there, Brad. And thank you for that first letter too, Joel, in case I didn't say that before. But yeah, Toys R Us offloaded the any backstock they had on this. I think it was Target.
Yeah.
I don't think it's exclusive to Target, but Target sells a lot of it. But it was fine. I tended to think that with the True Heroes stuff, the bigger they went, the better it was.
The giant vehicles were like awesome.
Yeah, that big submarine sticks out in my head. That big air transport sticks out in my head. It was a little off scale, obviously, but it's good enough for it's pretty good for dios if you're just getting something set up with your Joes. I liked it pretty well. Unfortunately, I don't have any of it. It happened. Those big sets happened along at a time when I just didn't have a whole lot of space to dedicate to something like that. But if I had the space, I'd have certainly picked it up. They certainly filled a hole that the G.I. Joe collection never filled. Mark, what do you think there? As a former toy guy, what do you think?
I mean, I loved it because if you think about the G.I. Joe line, like as a kid, it was those giant vehicles and play sets that drove my imagination a lot. And it was as a kid, I was like, well, I'll never have the drone and I'll never have the flag. Those are too big. But something like the whale was a potential Christmas present, right? Like there were just levels that, pools you could swim in and pools that you couldn't, where the water was too deep. And I loved that the Joe line back then was everything from a motorized $4 backpack all the way up to, a freaking aircraft carrier.
Right.
And everything in between. So I always thought the True Heroes figures were just trash, right? Like the figures did nothing for me.
Oh, yeah, the figures did nothing.
The figures are just
they were
ridiculously bad. But I liked their ingenuity with the vehicles. They had a truck pulling a giant missile, I think.
Yes, I have that.
You got that? And I thought about it. I thought about that one. I think the only one I pulled the trigger on was the C-130, or it's maybe a C-65, right? It's not quite that big.
Yeah.
But Joe never had anything like that. And it's in scale to G.I. Joe enough that with the right amount of stickers, that's absolutely a Joe transport. So I like that they were filling a hole when Joe, for a while, G.I. Joe was only doing the vehicle boxes, right? And they were 2 re-released, maybe repainted vehicles that a diehard collector probably already had. So for new vehicles and innovative stuff, I thought True Heroes was fantastic, vehicle-wise. But the figures, absolute garbage.
So I used to use the figures as dead bodies for...
Wait.
So my other figures...
Did somebody say...
Oh my God!
Dead bodies? Hang on.
Thing?
Gotta keep this guy handy in case Battle Force 2000 gets called in. Now we're
Carries a lot of corpses.
So... Oh my God.
Okay.
I love it and hate you at the same time.
Right.
Joe Colton's got one of the submarines just painted red and covered in ninjas.
Right. Well, and that's another good point. It was a customizer's dream.
Yeah.
The guys that are good at vehicles to not just take a HISS tank and make it Polar HISS or make it Battle Force 2000 HISS. But they were. I remember a guy took the submarine and made it Destro's like flagship sub.
Right.
And it was great.
I can see that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So for the customizers, the vehicle customizers out there, it was great. For the figure customizers, man, there's not enough paint in the world to make
dead bodies, just
bullet holes and blood. Yeah, that's probably the best.
Burn a couple, it's fine.
Yeah.
So yes, True Heroes figures needed some work, but I think the point of that line was really more the vehicles anyway. So
yeah,
thumbs up on the vehicles.
Yeah.
Great job on those. Next question. Hi, Mike. This is the Minnesota Viper. Hearing what a Beachhead fan you are, as we all should be, I thought I'd send you a few pictures of my 2004 Night Force Beachhead. He came with the Moray hydrofoil and a Night Force flint. That he did. He has some odd accessories, so I painted my accessory pack yellow versions black and gave him the dark gray gun. I hope you enjoy. And this is Manessa Berg via email.
Ooh,
and he sent a couple of pictures along. Let me go ahead and get that. There we go.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he did a good job with the yellow. Normally, if you're painting those things, it kind of bleeds through, or he did a good job there.
Yeah, the cover up is great. Like, I wonder what he used, but yeah, it's good.
There was no gun came with that Beachhead. I thought he came with the backpack. I know he came with a backpack. I don't know if it was that one though. But
this is in the collection somewhere, right, Mike? Your own?
A couple versions of it. Yeah.
Okay, just check.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
you're unsure.
They put him out in CVS stores on a little single card too.
Really?
I have that guy on a little single card even. So I've got Night Force Beachhead, no question.
Here's a trivia question: what Canadian is noticeably absent from this picture?
Well, Backstop is not in his Persuader. No.
What's he doing?
Maybe he was like standing behind it.
He's rooting for the Canadians. Probably. That's what he's doing. He's off watching TV.
He's getting a Colt Molson.
It could be, eh?
That's what he's doing.
I mean,
and a Timbit.
Clearly, there's no fighting going on, so he's off getting a beer.
And a Timbit.
Maybe a cold puppers.
Does that Beachhead have brown or blue eyes?
I think he's got black eyes.
Like his soul.
like his soul, like his lack of soul.
Where do you weigh in on that, Mike, being Mr. Beachhead?
Weigh in on what?
Well, the last Beachhead that came out had brown eyes and blue eyes, right? Two different versions. So what's more authentic?
I don't think it matters. I think both of those colors of eyes are perfectly human.
Right, but which one is Beachhead?
I don't know. Brown?
Okay, just checking.
There's more of them. Seems to be more of them.
Like a brown-eyed Superman figure would look weird, right?
Yeah, but that's Superman.
Well, I'm just saying.
I don't think Beachhead has quite made that deep of an indentation on our popular culture.
Well, no, but he's your favorite guy,
anyway.
right?
Yeah, true, but not yet. Give it time.
What if they made, like, I don't know, Peter Parker have green eyes? Or does he have green? I don't know.
I probably wouldn't care.
Or if they took away Mary Jane's red hair.
They did that in the movies, and it's still okay. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's
You know how hard it is for a redhead to get a primetime gig in Hollywood? Come on now.
Look, it's pretty easy because they dye a lot of them red.
It's the most popular hair dye out there.
Saying
Sure.
it's what they're all trying to get to.
Right? For many are called, but few are chosen.
And on that note, let's bring the first ever G.I. Joe mail call to a close. How do you think it went, guys?
I liked it.
Nice and slick.
Right? It's
Real
short.
quick.
Look at us getting out before the whole world shuts down.
Yeah.
We could go to a bar or order a pizza or take a walk and not get mugged.
Let's not get too crazy.
Well,
Or get Wes some yogurt for the probiotic content.
so remember, now that if you've watched us and enjoyed us, please head down below, like our video, subscribe to our channel, share it to your social media. Please help us out as far as getting ourselves further established into your YouTube universe. For my co-hosts Mark Weber and Joe Colton, I'm Mike Irizarry. Until the next mail call, we'll see you around.
Since it's not live, we can say anything we want. Oh.